How you doing, Erin? It's been a while.
I'm good. I'm so excited to be back.
Yes, me too. Me too. And I'm glad to start off by giving you a nice toast to our second season. I just have
hmm
a glass of water, but I do have something I want to show you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the other day I was walking along a beach and they had some beautiful sea glass, and I found one that's the bottom of a bottle, a green bottle, and on it says "Made in Canada." So
Okay.
if you
Kind of
go
rare.
to our YouTube channel, you'll be able to go see the sea glass that says "Made in Canada," and I thought it was very cool for us because I know you're getting your permanent residency soon, right?
hmm
And I'm in the process of finalizing my citizenship, both of us for Canada, and we're both very excited about our immigration process. I've been here now 23 years, so I think "Made in Canada" makes sense. And how long have you been here, Erin?
About 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time for us to officialize things.
If only the process would go quicker.
Yeah, let's make this move along, move it along.
Well, I have a mug that is very
Mm-hmm.
special to me. If you're not on YouTube right now, if you're just listening, you can again go to the channel and see it. But it's an Alice in Wonderland mug, and at the top there's some writing in it, and it says, "This is the most curious tea party I've ever been to," said Alice. So it's right from the book. And I have this mug with me today because when I was like 13, 14 in ninth grade, I played Alice in the school play. And I had to memorize over 300 lines. And some of those lines were like a paragraph of me just
Whoa.
talking to the audience or talking to myself. And so I had to use a lot of memorization tactics in order to make sure that I knew what I had to say and when I had to say it. So
That's very cool because it's kind of going into what we're going to talk about today, memorization, like how to learn like new vocabulary, new ways of speaking, new expressions, and how to like integrate them into this regular everyday conversation so that it sounds natural and we feel good about it. But first, Erin, I want to know about your hair. Did you have a yellow wig? A blonde wig?
No, actually, I didn't. Our Alice did not have a yellow wig. I had my natural hair in curls and a blue dress and all that stuff. That was the only thing that that wasn't connected.
You were a brunette Alice.
I was a brunette Alice.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, there are like three main learning styles, and most people have one that's dominant, and but the other ones are still present in their lives. So there's three main ones. Do you know what they are, Erin?
Yes, visual,
Yeah.
auditory, and kinesthetic.
So like you got your eyes, your ears, and your body, and if you can, then we're going to learn about today. We're going to look at how we learn, the ways we learn, and then how it affects like how we learn another language.
Right, and how we can identify what category we fall into as well. So I'm super excited to talk about this topic. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind you, listeners, again, we have 3 vocab words that will be sprinkled throughout the text today. So we've got struggle, engage, and cue. So listen for those words and try and see if you can figure out what they mean based on the context. So,
Yeah. Struggle, engage, and cue. Okay.
exactly. All right. You ready, Sarah?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Your 20 minutes start now.
Oh, Erin, it is so good to be back. It's our second
Yay!
season. We did it. We finished that first one, and it was so much fun. We're like, we have to keep doing this. This is so much fun. We enjoy it, and like together, I just think we've like you just were saying to me, we found our groove, and we love it. So I'm just
Mm-hmm.
happy to be back.
Yes, listeners, I am so excited for season 2. We've got some amazing topics lined up for you and some great guest speakers to come in that we can interview as well. So excited. But speaking of interviews, I hope you enjoyed our season 1.5 that we had with our coaches, our verbatim coaches. If you didn't get a chance to listen to those yet, you can always go back and listen to them later. So check out our YouTube channel, check out anywhere that you listen to your podcast. And I just think it was a great time getting to know our coaches a bit more, like on a different level. So I
Yeah.
encourage you go and listen to them.
Yeah, like it gets to see like who we are as verbatim as well, and just like the love and passion our coaches have for what they do is transmitting their love of languages and learning to others. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
us, like it's a team behind us. So I think that's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
So again, our um the title of our podcast is 20 minutes a day. The whole point is getting 20 minutes every day in your second, your third, your fourth language. And we're going to look at today is why knowing what your learning style is matters. Why does it
Mm-hmm.
matter? And a lot of it is just it helps you get efficient in learning. It helps you know the methods and the tools that are going to work for you. And then, of course, it helps with retention. So you actually remember what you learn and not just be like, oh, yeah, that was great, and then forget about it. And it also makes it more fun because you're connecting to something that really resonates with you. So
Mm-hmm.
I think you get better efficiency, better retention, and more enjoyment.
Oh,
So,
well said,
mm,
Sarah. Well
mm,
said. I mean, I
mm.
was just talking about it earlier that I think I'm going to geek out a little in this episode because over the years, Sarah, you and I have been able to find our learning styles. So we've been able to find enjoyment in the learning process, even in the messy bits of trying to learn another language. We've found our groove in that. And so it comes a bit easier. So
Yep.
we're excited to share it with you, listeners, so that you can find that groove as well. So, what exactly are the three main learning styles?
So, like we were saying earlier, we have visual, eyes, auditory ears, and kinesthetic body. So, visual learners learn best by seeing. So, they love like graphs and charts. They want to see that pie chart. They want to see that graph. They want an image, a good picture that expresses what they're trying to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's written, it's easier for them. So, if they see it on the blackboard, if they see it on the whiteboard or on the smart board, they're going to retain it much more,
Mm-hmm.
and they
Yeah.
tend to remember things by picturing them mentally, like they can see it in their head. Are you able to do that, Erin? Like, do you are you more visual? I don't know.
Well, this is where it gets kind of tricky because I find myself kind of stuck between two different learning styles. I'm not the best person at like picturing things visually in my head. Like when somebody says, picture a dog or whatever, or picture the
Mm-hmm.
word, it's kind of all like, I don't know, jumbled up. So in terms of like picturing it, I'm not that good at it, but I do resonate with like the graphs and the charts and diagrams and images. And I was just talking about this with someone the other day. I am terrible with people's names. Like they introduce themselves to me and it's like the shaking of the hand and in one ear, out the other ear
Mm-hmm.
with their names. But if they have a name tag, or
Mm-hmm.
if I see their name in my contacts or on Instagram or whatever, I'm so much better
Mm-hmm.
at remembering who they are next time I see them.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it's I can remember their face, but I won't remember their name if they say it to me. Like, I'm not a very strong auditory learner, but visual helps. But I'm not able to really visualize things in my brain. Like, it's harder for me. A lot of what goes on inside is my inner voice is really a voice. It's not images. So I
Yeah,
don't know how strong that side is.
yeah,
And like if someone tells me a number, like I'm not able to see that number. So it's like you have to write it down. I can't see what you're saying to me. So I
yeah.
think the auditory part is less. So how about the auditory for you? Like when you learn best by hearing. So is that a little bit harder for you then?
Yes, I think that's my weakest learning style or learning skill because the listening to people talking in another language is always the hardest thing for me. It's more of a like it's I forget the term for it actually. I always want to call it passive, but it's not really passive, but you're not creating something when you're
Mm-hmm.
listening. But I
Mm-hmm.
still find it hard to follow conversations sometimes, and understand what people are saying. However, the one thing that is, I don't know, easy for me to remember at the auditory level is scripts to movies, like
Oh,
movie
you're
lines,
right. Oh my word, you're
movie
so
quotes.
right.
I have no idea why, but for some reason, movie quotes just stick right in my head
Mm-hmm.
so easily. Yeah.
Maybe
And
it's because it's visual too. Like you can see the context. I wonder.
maybe that might be part of it because to be
Mm.
honest, whenever I'm doing chores like I don't know, washing dishes or folding laundry or cleaning, something that doesn't really require my brain space too much, I'm able to listen to movies, listen to TV shows that I've already seen before, that I already know
Mm-hmm.
what's happening, and I kind of just listen and picture what's
Mm.
going on in my head. So maybe it's because it's connected to that visual side. I don't know.
Yeah, and but yeah, like for me, I'd much rather listen to a podcast than watch something or even read. I love podcasts, so I don't know, like something about it, and I'm able to tell myself the same story. Like before bed, sometimes I'll tell myself the story of the podcast I was listening to earlier in the day to help me fall
Hmm.
asleep. So there's something there, but so they're easier. Like auditory learners, it's easier for them to remember conversations, remember names, remember what's said to them. Like my husband will, like I said earlier, will tell me a number. I can't see it, so I like it's auditory, but I like you said earlier too about names, in one ear, out the other. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And auditory learners also like talk through their problems or ideas out loud. And this is so my husband. Like in the morning, like I hear him and I'm like, "Who are you talking to?" And he's like, "Myself." I'm just talking through things. Like I never do that. It all goes on in my head, but for him, it comes out. And he's a
Hmm.
not a magician. He's a musician, magician, musician. He's a musician, and so I think that also becomes more auditory. Like they're able to hear the difference between notes.
Hmm.
They're able to hear the accords, and somehow I think they're also a little better at pronunciation when they learn a language because they can
Hmm.
hear it and reproduce it, like in
Hmm.
music. And even like with numbers, he when he says it, he sees it, he knows what it is. He's able to like do calculations verbally, where
Hmm.
I'd have to see it written down for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had one friend in band growing up. Oh my goodness, he was so good at listening to like classical pieces, and he would immediately know who the composer was. Like not even, it might not even be a song that he's heard before, but he was able to recognize different patterns and how the, I don't know, how the piece was created, and he
Mm.
just knew up, that way, or using these instruments in this certain way is exactly what, I don't know, Brahms would do or something, and he knew it automatically. I was like, how? How are you able to picture that out? But again,
Wow,
for
he could
me,
feel their style.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that is phenomenal. But for
Mm.
me, like, I can do that with movie music, but nothing else. So maybe it's just, I don't know, the love of movies.
Ah, you and movies, oh my word,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
wonderful. And how about your husband Dan? Would you have an idea which is stronger for him?
Yeah, he's definitely more, he's more of a visual, definitely more visual, because when I tried to describe things to him, like the other day I was describing how I wanted to put up pictures in the new house, and I was like, we could put it here and there and do this, and he was like, no, I'm gonna need you to diagram that out, like write it,
Mm-hmm.
show it to me, or even just hold the frames up on the wall or something. So maybe that's kind of more kinesthetic, like the next skill that we'll
Mm-hmm.
talk about, or the next style.
Yeah, so kinesthetics learners, they learn best by doing, by feeling. It's their body. They need to be active in their learning process. They need movement, hands-on activities. And they often say things like I feel like this, I feel this, or my gut says, it says things like I see or I
Mm.
hear you. They'll be like I feel it. So
Mm.
even just a second ago, you're talking about. I use the word I feel it in responding to you because it's so me. Like I am so kinesthetic. Like I need to move. I need to do to learn it. Um, so like matching it when I was in school as a child, like I would have to write down my vocabulary words, write down definitions, cut them into pieces, and do matching. Like I needed to move. I couldn't just like memorize them. Or spelling, I
Yeah.
had to write it over and over and over again. 'Cause writing helps me a lot because when I
Yeah.
write my notes, like like every time I'm always writing notes because it helps stay in my brain. Then
Yeah. When you said spelling, it gave me it gave me like PTSD flashbacks about the spelling bee, like standing in front of everybody and having to picture in my brain the letters and where they needed to go. No, that is not me.
I was so bad at spelling bees too. Oh my word!
I too had to like write things out over and over again, like writing lines. But when I had to memorize like lines or paragraphs or anything for the plays, for example, like when I was Alice, I would actually, I think this is more connected to kinesthetic because the best way for me to practice a line was to actually say it out loud in
Mm-hmm.
within the context of what was going on in that scene.
Hmm.
So what I actually did is I recorded the entire play, like in different scenes, like so it could be broken down to scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. I recorded the entire play, reading the other people's lines and then leaving enough space for me to say my own lines. So then later on, I would listen to each scene and I would say my line out loud in the right context and in the right order. And so I actually
Right.
had to kind of act it out that way in order to fully integrate it and cement it in my brain.
Wow, you
So
were totally learning by doing. I never heard of anyone doing that. Like that's a great method.
it's so helpful when you have to learn something within the context of somebody else's speech or what's going on in the scene at that moment, different cues, right? I would need to memorize other people's cues and other people's lines in order to know when it was my turn to speak. And so it really really helped me. But yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, how did I learn lines in when I was in plays? I'm like, oh, I remember. I was the fiddler in Fiddler on the Roof, so I had 0 lines.
Nice.
You were Alice, so you had all the lines, and I was the fiddler sitting on the little roof. So that's why. That's how I learned them. I just didn't have any.
I love that though. Oh my
I had to learn
goodness.
to pretend to look like I'm playing a fiddle.
Hey, that's good, but that's the kinesthetic side too,
Yeah,
like you have
I was
to
up there on this
the
little roof.
movements and all of that stuff.
Oh my word. That's so
So
funny.
listeners,
So yeah,
yeah, now that we've done a little overview of what the styles are and where we find ourselves, we want to help you identify what your learning style is. And so what cues you might see in your behavior patterns in order to identify where you end up. So Sarah, did you want to start us off with the
sure.
visual learner?
Sure, like a visual learner, like when they're taking notes, they're gonna get out their highlighters and they're all those different colors. They can color code things, and they're gonna say things like, "I see what you mean. Let me picture that," or "I can't picture that," or "Can you show me?" Like you're like Dan did for you, like
Mm-hmm.
at the diagram, and they're gonna love to have written instructions and not just verbal ones. They often, you know what? Visual learners often get distracted by visual clutter or movement around them.
That is definitely my husband.
Oh,
If the house is a mess, for me, I'm okay with it. I can kind of ignore it, focus on what I'm doing. No, that doesn't work for him. If there's clutter on his desk, if there's clutter in the space around him, he's gotta clean it before he can do anything else.
That makes sense. My husband's similar. Like, yeah, he has to get one thing, just like organize the clutter, even put it into
Yeah.
like different piles or clutter so that we can organize it better. Yeah, that makes sense for both of them.
So, if you're more of an auditory learner, then
Mm-hmm.
you might notice that you say things like, that sounds right, I hear you, let's talk it out, let's talk things through. You might learn better through lectures or podcasts or conversations that you have with people. You might need to repeat things out loud, hear things multiple times in order to memorize things. You might like reading out loud. You might enjoy
Mm-hmm.
music or different rhythm. Use rhythm to memorize certain things.
Hmm.
Putting things to song
Yeah.
definitely helps.
I mean, we do it for kids, like, and it does help them learn. Like, I mean, basic ABCs. There's a song for it, and like pretty much every
Exactly.
language,
Yeah.
because you got to get them in order. Mm.
What about kinesthetic learner cues, Sarah?
Um, they're like need to be physically involved, so like they learn and then they need to do it. Once they've been told what to do, they need them to do it themselves. So they'll say like, let me try it, let me try it. I see you doing it, now let me try it. So they need to get physically involved by moving things around. And even like on, like if we're talking about vocabulary learning, like I don't really like Quizlet for the matching game, because I'm still moving my mouse to match the words. So like, yeah, there's a lot of other ways of learning on Quizlet, but that's my favorite because it's kinesthetic in a way of, even though they're virtual matching cards, I'm still matching and I have to move my arms.
Yeah.
They often use gestures when speaking or explaining, like I just did, a live for you. They it's hard. They struggle to sit still for long periods. So it's not clutter. Like me, clutter, not a big deal. But sit still for long periods, I might start to doodle. I might start to fidget a little bit. Like I need to move. I need to get moving. Yeah. So Erin, can you think of some, like, for our listeners, like some self check quiz examples they could use to like see which one they fall into
Yeah.
more?
Absolutely. Let's think about the context of directions. So, when somebody
Mm,
gives you directions, do you prefer looking at a map with directions written down? Or do you want somebody to tell you what to do step by step? Or do you actually have to open the map and physically trace the route with your finger? Maybe
yeah.
even walk. Sometimes I have to find myself, okay, I'm walking this way, I have to go straight, and then I turn right. So I actually turn my body right. I'm not there yet, but I'm just picturing what I have to do. And then left, that kind of a thing. I think our time is winding down now, though.
Yeah.
It was so much fun talking about this, but I hear our timer going off. Wow, that flew by fast. It was so much fun talking about different learning styles. I feel like I have so much more to talk about, so it'll be great for our next episode. But in this one, did you guys catch the vocabulary words that we used? Struggle, cue, and engage. And we actually threw in two more, pattern and retention, in case you want to go back and listen for those.
Mm-hmm.
We will use all these words for a crossword puzzle at the end of the season, just like we did last time. So stay tuned. We will publish that at the end of the season.
So next time, we're gonna look at those tips and tricks of how to learn based on your primary learning style. So it's going to be wonderful if you actually know what your learning style is first before listening to it. So in the show notes, there's a link. It'll take you to a little quiz you can fill out to find out what your learning style is. So that's going to be a lot of fun for you, so that next time it's going to be even more engaging what we say, because you're going to be like, oh, I get it. I know where I'm at. I know where I find myself within the story.
Mm-hmm. And also, don't forget to like and share and subscribe to this podcast so that others can also join us on their language learning journeys.
So Goodbye, adios, au revoir from Quebec City.
And signing off from Montreal, as Humphrey Bogart would say, this is the start of a beautiful friendship.